how can we feel our sense of purpose, our sense of what our soul is here in this incarnation to do, to experience, to express? How can we feel and know that authentic, soulful nature of being if we're not listening to our soul? When the only voice we hear, when the only narrative we are attentive to, listening to, is the narrative of our egoic construct. I want this, I need that, this has to be different than this is what that means, this is what this means. When that noise is the dominant and mostly the only noise, the only narrative we hear, then we can't feel into our soulful resonance because we are attending to the ego's demands. The ego's manipulation of life to get what it needs because of its construct. Whatever its construct is, it needs this to be loved, it needs this to be worthy, it needs this to be valuable, it needs this to be happy. When that is what we are listening to, we can't hear our own soul's inclinations, and yet they're always there. And even if we do hear them, even if we do feel a general desire, a way of being in the world that feels soulfully guided, to play a certain type of music, to create a certain type of art, to work in life in a particular way, to live in a particular place, just to, how we're kind of guided with a sense of what we often call intuition, to be in the world in a certain way. Even when that is heard, it's heard, but then the first voice that pops up is the egoic voice and says, yeah, but what does this mean for me? The construct of self immediately asks, if we follow this directive of the soul, our natural resonance, our natural guidance, if we follow that, what will it mean for me? Will I be rejected? Will I be humiliated? Will I be successful? Will I be loved? Will I be happy? The ego is asking, what will I get what I want if we follow this direction that is being proposed by our own soulful inclinations? And this is the value of quieting the mind and opening the heart regularly with devotion, steadily, so that we can listen to and contemplate and be present to our natural soulful inclinations. And we may not know exactly what it looks like, a certain project, a certain business, a certain creative endeavor. We may not know exactly what it looks like, but we can start to listen to our general essence. So we journal, we contemplate, we feel into what brings me alive? What is my own vitality? And the ego pops up and goes, well, whatever it is, just make sure I get taken care of. And we learn to just hear it and go, no, sorry, ego, you're not even real. You're a construct. Your activity of mind. I'm listening to soul. I'm not listening any longer to just activity of mind. I'm listening to soul. And we might find an essential essence of being. It doesn't have a particular way of being expressed yet, but first we just want to get familiar with our essential nature of being. So the oneness that we all are is the love, the stillness, the awareness. And then that oneness does get expressed through an individuation of soul. And as we listen to what is that individuation? What's my soulful particular way of being? We might initially just find it to be general. So as an example, in sitting with that question and feeling into what's always been true for me, what has always been the essential nature of being? I recognize that my soul's way of being in the world is to help things to be complete, is to bring together what is disharmonious, to help inspire and guide full potential. And it shows up in all manner of ways. Like, I'm a tech geek, and I just love, right? This is how you know it's soulful. I love optimizing things. My music system in the home, my lighting. I love playing with lighting and, smart bulbs and just being able to speak a command and getting the lighting just right, I love cooking. I love playing with putting together different spices and tastes and flavors and textures into creating a meal that is as optimized as I can make it. So it happens in the world of form. I love optimizing things. I love helping bring things into their full potential. And then, of course, that translates into this work and the Oasis and the work that I do to help people awaken to who they truly are, to be in their fullness, in their truth, in their full potential. This is my soul's way of being. And I can only know that if I stop and listen and contemplate and journal and have that be part of my conversation with myself and with dear friends and with family. These awarenesses. Oh, interesting. That's what I've always done. I only discovered that through thinking about it and contemplating and feeling into it. Bringing voice to it, bringing words to it, naming it. And then recently that in that contemplation, in that consistent questioning, who am I really? What's my essential nature of being? What's most important to my soul, to my truth, to my essential nature? In that contemplation, I've come to also name it as part of my purpose is to reveal what is hidden. To reveal what is hidden. So the spiritual work is to reveal the true nature of our being, to help guide the awakening of what is hidden. Who am I really? That true self, to awaken that, to show it, to reveal it. And also to reveal the shadow, to reveal all the ways that we get in the way of our knowing of our true self. To reveal what is hidden. In all of the years of adventure travel guiding, so much was around wanting to help people have these experiences that opened their eyes, that opened all their senses, to open their hearts, to reveal a beauty and a magnificence of life that was typically hidden from most people, a beauty of their own hearts that was hidden from them, a beauty of a land that they had never visited, the Himalayas, or these different places, Africa, the whales of down in Baja, to invite people into spaces and opportunities where the magic and beauty of life could be revealed. So this is beautiful to know that this is a sense of purpose. Your purpose doesn't have to be so pointed, I need to do this. But when you start to recognize your central nature, that's your purpose. Somebody could say, look, my purpose is to be kind. What brings me alive is fostering kindness. Somebody else might be, their sense might be, wow, what I notice, what I feel when I really listen, when I quiet the mind regularly and consistently and with devotion. What I find is that I'm brought alive by creativity, by being creative, by helping others be creative. Somebody else might say it's in architecture. It's in building things. I love building things. I love working with my hands. I love taking what is disparate, all these different disparate parts, and bringing them together into something functional. So it could be anything. Somebody else, it might be singing, dancing, raising children, designing homes. And you find at the core of that, at the foundation of that, it's about, like if it was designing homes, it could be about, there's something about creating spaciousness, around creating beauty where people can feel at peace. That might be an essential nature of one's soul. But how can we know that soulful truth if all we're listening to is the conditioned narrative of managing the content of experience, getting lost in the content of experience? And all there is just managing the world of form so that we can feel okay, so that we can feel whole, belonging, valuable, worthy, valid. Once we know that no matter what, we are already worthy, we are already loved, we are already valid, then we can start to quiet the narrative of the egoic self and listen. And our soul speaks, our soul shows itself, reveals itself. It can't help it. It's already there. It's always there in its essential nature. We're just typically not listening to it. And we listen to it through stillness, through quiet. We listen to it by not listening as much to the story of the personal self. I'm not saying we can block that story of personal self out completely. Initially, we just learn to not believe it. Just to say, no, not now, not now. I'm resting in peace. I'm dropping my awareness into the heart. I'm just right now trying to find some peace and stillness and quiet so that I can inquire, who am I really? How can we know our soulful truth when all we're listening to is the constant narration of the egoic construct? interpreting everything on behalf of the ego, on behalf of the constructed self. How can we know the true self when all we're listening to are the demands and the directives of the construct of self? All right, blessings, my friends. May you know your soulful nature that is a unique expression of the one love. All right, blessings.